Welcome to the Sylvania Round Football Show with Coach Dollar Vann, who got Randalled out of being here on time. Allie, let's start our first show with explaining how I live in Eastern Time. You and Coach Vann lives in Central Time. I set up the broadcast for Central Time, then went back and changed it to Eastern Time, and only forgot to tell Coach Vann, you're used to my mistake. So you got it. So Coach Vann will be on his way in just a minute.
Yeah, this morning when you sent the text, you first said 7 o'clock, then like 15 words later you said 6 o'clock, and so I think he got confused on what the time was. Well, I know exactly he did, but he is on his way. He's heading to the field house to get logged in, and he will be here shortly. And hope everybody enjoys the show.
Well, let's explain why Coach Vann's coming on and what we're going to do. And for all of our Sylvania folks, first of all, go to YouTube, like RiverCity-Media Sports, and every time we go live, you don't have to deal with Facebook. You can we'll pop into your now live section. So it's RiverCity-Media Sports. Follow us, subscribe, and every time we go live with this show, you'll get a notification. Here's the goal. We, as in you and I, had talked for a long time about having Tyler as a guest. Coach Vann, I call him Tyler because he's a friend too. It's kind of a little Coach Vann, and put together something. Frankly, we had great success with it, and we all three enjoy doing it. We talked to Coach Vann a few weeks ago, and we were like, why don't we do something permanently with Sylvania football? And that's what this is. Howie, right now, we'll be on about monthly, probably till 2 months ahead of football season, 6 weeks ahead of football season. Then we'll go weekly with Coach Vann.
Yeah, that's the plans for right now. We enjoyed talking to Coach Vann. Of course, we enjoy talking to each other and enjoy Coach Vann being on the show. He enjoys it. Got great feedback, and we threw this proposal out to him, back before Christmas, and he's like, "Hey, let's do it." And so he's on board. We wanted to start in January, but due to circumstances, we wasn't able to get started that quick.
I
And
fell off the ladder. You can go ahead and tell everybody.
well, no, I wasn't going to do that. But anyway, we was planning on starting then. Circumstances didn't allow us to do that. Coach Vann helps with the basketball. I've got my little basketball stuff that I do at 5 as well. And so, basketball season has unfortunately wrapped up for everybody, for us too that's involved in it. So we're ready to get the show rolling.
So, and there's a bunch of people jumping on. Again, I'll say we will be on our regular platforms if you follow us on Facebook, but we're moving over to a YouTube channel. We also are looking for a couple of things to expand this. We're looking for a local market to take this show to, where you might have multiple ways to get it in the Fort Payne, DeKalb County, Sylvania, Sand Mountain area. We also are looking for sponsorship, and we don't know how that's going to look. We know we're going to split the sponsorship with the quarterback club, offset the cost of doing the show, and raise money for the quarterback club. Howie, the goal, you will be at every game, embedded. You are the stats man for the high school. So you're our eyes there at the game. So you will, every week, you will bring us stats, key plays, things that change the game. What else will you be looking for as we grow this show?
Be looking forward to seeing the senior class that be coming in, having them on the show occasionally. Maybe try to grab an assistant coach every once in a while, get them to come on. For me, it's going to be, I got a phone call. It's Coach Vann calling now, so let me see what he wants real quick. I'll let you take over, Randy.
So we're sorry again. Set up on Eastern time. It was originally scheduled for Eastern. We didn't communicate that to Coach Vann, so Coach Vann's trying to join us now live. And again, it'll take us a couple weeks to get this ironed out. And after a couple weeks, we'll be able to be pretty fluent with it. They're making fun of me right now, folks. You can tell they're talking about Randall's Eastern Central Prime problem. So the one thing we want to do is we want to bring some of the kids on. We're going to bring some of the assistant coaches on. And Howie, what's the update? Howie, what's the update?
The update is
do what?
He is fixing to join us in just a second. He's pulling into the field house. He had honeydews to do and lost track of time.
Oh, he's all good. We told him the wrong time to start. So give us 5 more minutes. We'll have him on. Reason we went ahead and started, folks, though, is we wanted to get a little bit about what we're trying to do out there before Coach Vann gets on here. And I'll say this before Coach Vann gets on here. This is going to be positive. There's some things that we want to do. We want to open up a mailbox where you, as Sylvania fans, can email us questions every week. We may even have a ability for you to call in and talk to us every week live on the air. But Howie, we got to keep this. Got to keep this adult and professional. Coach Vann can only say so much about game plans, what he's doing. We're not doing this to give away Sylvania's game plan.
No, not at all. And of course, he knows that, and he's not going to give nothing away because when we talk to him, he might not even have a game plan ready, depending on when we actually do this. Word has it that we may be doing this on Sundays, and
yes.
So he may not even watch the film yet from the previous week or going into the next week. So no, it's nothing like that. Yeah, we'd love for people, not just Sylvania people, anybody that would want to contact us and have a question for Coach Vann or myself or Randy or whoever. We're going to set up the email account. We'll pick 2 or 3 emails a week and answer those to the best of our ability. And if we don't know the real answer, we'll probably make something up for you.
Yeah, and the one thing we don't want is, well, why didn't Coach Vann throw the ball on 3rd and 14 up 47 points? Coach Vann's going to run the team. We're here to support the team, and there's a time and place, and this is not the time or place for whys and whos. Now, if you want to question Coach Vann on some of his play calling every now and then, he might welcome that. He probably let you call a few if you think you can get it correct. So we will definitely have it in a way that does honor to the Sylvania Rams football program. And folks, there's a lot I think Coach Vann is getting on. Let me see. Oh, not yet. There's a lot we can do here. I'm not against every now and then maybe getting an opposing coach on here, and let's talk to Coach Benefield or a coach somewhere along the way. And, that mountain has such a tradition with football that there is so many things that we can do going forward. There's things like Wing Fest that we might be at. There's spring football. Football's a year-round sport, and we're going to make it so that you have year-round coverage of the Sylvania Rams. And Howie, one other thing is, we might pop in with Phil Harris from WQSB, might be on here a few times. I'm sure we'll have some guests from around the county.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to do our best to get more people on here. Not only will we have this show, but we'll also have Off the Record with Randall. That will be coming back hopefully starting next week. But this is going to be something new that we're going to try and see how it goes. And hopefully we get a good feedback like we have the last 2 times when we've had, or actually 3 times that we've had Coach Vann on, because we had a 15-minute spot with him at the Wing Fest in the locker room,
right,
showing everything. So hopefully we'll keep on getting good response, and Coach Vann don't get tired of us, and will continue to join us.
That's the key part. So let's not make Coach Vann tired of us. Howie, one thing while we're waiting on Coach Vann, I really thought that 2021, that the Rams, I won't say overachieved, but they overachieved what I thought their goals would be. And I think it boded well for Coach Vann in his first year to come out, and he really captured the community too.
Yeah, he's a very likable individual, and that's something that coaches has got to realize. You got to get the fan support going. You got to get the community involved. Now, if you don't want to show up for certain things and show yourself and lose the fan support, then you're gonna lose players when that comes around.
Yeah, absolutely. And Coach Vann is so community friendly with this program, and the Wing Fest. We had a hard time setting up that interview with Coach Vann during the Wing Fest because he was in the cornhole tournament, and I think he had advanced a couple of rounds, and we had to get him in between the advance and in the cornhole tournament. But one other thing with you and your lovely daughter who plays in the Sylvania band, of course, will be at every game. The opportunity exists if someone wanted to help with some stats or something maybe next year. You might have some opportunities. Anybody's interested in doing something like that to help us, or even chart out plays that you could send to the show and say, here's the chart of plays. We'll take all the information we can get at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I can use all the help I can get. If anybody just is wanting to become a stat person and help do it, I'll let you do the defense. I'll let you do the offense. If there's two or three of you, I'll delegate it down, and I'll sit in the bleachers and holler down at you and say, hey, you didn't do it right, or something like that. So, but no, if anybody's interested in helping out, I'm sure Coach Vann wouldn't mind, because I guarantee you I don't mind if somebody's willing to help out.
So we're setting up an email address that's going to be Sylvania Ram Football at RiverCity-Media or something like that. So you email us your questions, and then we'll leave them right on the air. I did have one question for Coach Vann that is from a non-Sylvania Ram person that I'm going to ask him tonight as soon as he gets on here, Howie. But I was going to get your opinion of it too. I've been at a 3A school in Tennessee. The numbers get really tough. And sometimes at the smaller school, you get kids, and we're going to talk about basketball. I went to one of our basketball games, school I'm at currently, and only one kid was playing basketball. That's really odd to me that most of the time you have 4 or 5 kids that's playing football than basketball.
Right, absolutely. Being with Fife over the last couple of years, last year they only had one, if not two players that played basketball. This year, more football players came out. But usually at smaller schools, like you said, you got these 5 or 6 kids that has to play every athlete or play every sport for them to actually have sports, because there's just not enough kids that is out doing anything.
Well, we want to thank everybody being patient with us while Coach Tyler Vann figured out Randall time and did Coach Hannah Vann's honeydew list. Between Randall time and Hannah honeydew list, I'm surprised he had time to even make it to the show. So he'll be joining us in a minute. Howie, let's talk while we're waiting a little bit about the schedule. Of course, Sylvania's going to change areas.
Right.
That new area, Coach Vann likes to play competition, and his hand's going to be full.
Yeah, absolutely. I was talking to a gentleman today at Fort Payne, and he was talking about that everybody except for 2 schools that he could remember in the Fort Payne region dropped to 5A. Well, with Sylvania, all but I think 2 schools or 3 schools changed regions this year. And, it's going to be a very tough, probably one of the toughest regions in the state.
All right, let's bring Coach Vann on.
I'm here.
I understand you're learning to tell Randall time. I send 6, I send 7. You just got to figure it out and come when you get a chance.
I got you. That's my fault. I was at Fort Payne. Howard texted me and said, everything okay? I was like, what does he mean, everything okay? When I thought about it, I was like, oh, I'm late.
Yeah, well, I'm in Eastern. I was telling everybody I'm in Eastern. You're in Central. Between myself and Hannah Vann's to-do list. We're just proud you made it, because
Right.
keeping up with Randall is kind of hard. And Coach, you're on perfect timing. Howie and I had started talking a little bit about some of the things we want to accomplish, but we'd gotten to your new area. So they were redistricting last time we talked to you. All of that is now kind of done, and you know who your area is, and you got that schedule finalized. And the first question I have for you here on the Sylvania Rams show, could you not get Alabama and Auburn on the schedule, or were they busy on those weeks you wanted to play them?
Busy.
Okay.
They're busy.
That's a heck of a schedule.
It's a tough schedule, and it's like we like it though, because when we get to the playoffs, we played some of the best competition you're going to see in the North. It makes us better, makes our program better, and if you're not wanting to play the best, to have an opportunity to beat the best, you got to play them. So it's going to be good for us, our program, for our kids to get better. And we're excited about it. Kids are excited. The way we look at it is Sylvania's on their schedule, so they have something to deal with too. It ain't just us; they got to deal with us as well. And hopefully, we have something for every one of them.
Coach, were you surprised by the draw that you got? Because I know at some point we discussed and we thought you were moving to another region altogether.
Yeah, so we actually had already started a group text with some. We thought we'd go to Brindley Mountain. Asbury would still be with us. Thought we may get some other people like JB Pennington come to our area or region. It didn't work out that way. They threw us a different way. It never works out the way you think it's going to work out. So, but we're good with it. We got some good competition, and it's going to make us better. We're excited about it.
Coach, I look at it
we
like
won't
this.
get too far in it, but you start the year with Sacs and Piedmont. That's two teams that's had a lot of success in the playoffs, and that's a good judge, especially that Piedmont team. You end the year with 5. So between 5 for Piedmont, I think they've played in 6 or 7 straight state championships. So you're going to see a team that's state championship quality.
Yes, right off the bat too. Sacs is going to be a good football team. Week 1, get to see some speed early, good athleticism, good up front, well coached, and then you go to Piedmont. We go to the Field of Champions. They come to us last year in the playoffs, and I thought we were 1 or 2 mistakes away from being in that game at the end, and we weren't. They whooped us up front. That's why we're in the weight room right now. We're trying to get stronger, and hopefully have something for them then, and give them a game early and see them get in the playoffs. So we're excited about it. We're excited about going down there. Seeing that competition early really sets you up for the rest of the year, kind of like 5. Piedmont may be the best team on the schedule, so go over there, play hard, have a chance to win, find a way to win, and move on.
Coach, Howie, I'll come to you next too. Coach, while it's a new area, a lot of it feels the same. You still have a lot of traditional rivals in there. You're still going to see 5. You're going to see Plainview this year. To me, it was a nice mix on your schedule. You get Westbrook, Ohatchee, plus you got your local teams. It really felt like you made an effort to keep your schedule local, but go ahead and spread it out throughout the region and pick up some teams that maybe we've not seen every year.
Right. Yeah. And region, they gave us some 8 teams we got to play, and then I had them 3 non-region. We was able to schedule Sacs again because that's good for us to see that early, even though they're not in our region. They actually went south, and then picking up Pisgah should be a good rivalry. I don't much, but picking up Pisgah, going to Pisgah, well-coached football team, and should be a good gate both places.
You notice I stayed away from Pisgah. I'll let you start there.
And then we kept 5. We didn't have to play them, but it's good for us to play them. So we're playing them week 10 and going right into the playoffs for them. But Howie, I'll let you go in a second. I thought that was kind of brilliant, playing 5, right? You cannot have a better game to get you playoff ready than playing 5 week 10. I agree.
Was that intentional, or was that just an open date?
Well, I think Coach Benefield really wanted to play us as well. We give them a spread look going into the playoffs. They give us they're going to be a good football team and one of the better ones, better than probably most North 3A teams we're going to play in the playoffs. And seeing them right before you go into the playoffs, they're probably going to be better than the round one game you got the very next week. So they give us that physicality, the physical football game, but we're going to see that all year. They're just a team on the schedule this year that's going to be a tough game. And hopefully we're not too banged up, because if we're banged up a little bit, of course we'll be resting guys going into that. But
of course, 5 steps out of the region goes down to 2A again, but 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, it's still 5. It's a good football team. Howie, I'll let you go with some of your questions there, buddy.
Yeah, I'm looking at the schedule and everything, Coach, and I was just curious about, did you do it on purpose as far as your furthest road game is going to be at Piedmont? Is that because you're going to be kind of a young team coming in this year?
Right. Well, so the way we set it up, at the region meeting is auto-generated home and aways for the region. So they actually told you then where you was traveling, who's coming to you, and then we just kind of went out and scheduled your non-region game. So it was kind of the luck of the draw, or not the luck of the draw, because you look at us. We played Piedmont, Ohatchee, Geraldine back to back in this region. So very top heavy region. Not saying not top heavy, but we're playing 3 of the top teams in the region, in my opinion, back to back right off the bat. And the second half of the season's against still good football teams with Hope's Bluff, Westbrook Christian, Glencoe. So it's not easy. Plainview, Geraldine. So I think, though, going to Plainview early is going to help us, really do. Or Piedmont, I'm sorry, not Plainview. But going to Piedmont early is going to help us. Gives our younger guys some road experience at one of the most hostile, best places you can play high school football in 3A, probably 1 through 4 or 5A.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm looking at the schedule. You know more about it than I do, but it seems to me that every team that you're playing this coming season made the playoffs last year. Or am I overlooking one that didn't make it?
Glencoe didn't, but it's funny you say that, because you look at it, though, you got region champions, you got Sachs, you have Fife, you have Pisgah, and then you look at your semifinal game last year, or semifinals, you had Sachs and Piedmont in 3A North. They're both in there. You have Pisgah, who won the region. You got people at Fife who made it 3rd round, but you have a bunch of teams in there that play good football, that are well coached, and it should be a fun year.
Yeah, it's going to be
jokingly,
a great
we
year.
said it, Coach, but I really do think if Coach Saban had an open date, you might have scheduled him. So we kind of got out of sequence because we went ahead, but we want to jump back just a little bit. You've been involved, not directly as a coach, but you've been traveling with the basketball team. And while we're a football show, we love the kids at every sport. Had a pretty good run in basketball. Why don't you tell us a little bit about our basketball year and some of the kids and coaches that were involved? Of course, we've had coaches on here, but tell us how we did this year.
Well, they got better you look at the start of the year. I don't think anyone who watched them early in the year would have thought they made it to Jacksonville. They just kept working. Coach King done a great job with them. And you had guys that played football, that played basketball. You had some key guys step up, some seniors, Sawyer Hughes, Brody Smith, and then Ryan Bullock. He didn't play football, but he done a real good job for him. And then you had guys Drake Wisnat, and you had a bunch of guys on that basketball team who just continued to work and do what Coach King said. Coach King done a good job. You got Derek Talley, Staten. They all did a really good job coaching them and just working them, and they just continue to work. I think that's something I love about this place. Kids just want to work and get better. And if they know you care about them, they're going to work hard. They're going to fight for you, and they want to win just as much as anybody else. And I was really proud. I didn't coach. I never went to a practice. I sit with them, supported them. And I was actually supposed to probably go to a few practices. The deal was to start with, but there was always I was at football doing stuff. And, but no, just watching them just being kind of a spectator and watching, sitting on the bench and watching and seeing how the kids win, the coaches win. They did a really good job. continue to get better. Like I said, if you wouldn't have talked to many people who thought they'd been at Jacksonville early in the year, but that's where they ended up, and they did a really good job getting there. And
that's awesome. How did you get to? I know you're up the road a little bit, but you got to see the basketball team a couple of times too, didn't you?
I got to see them once there at 5, and very impressive. Very athletic team, and to me, I'm thinking with Coach Vann being on the bench, that shows his dedication to the kids, and that may even bring out more kids to play football. Have you seen that effect yet, Coach?
Well, we're trying. But most of them, we was talking, man, Coach King was actually talking today. Coach King and I, English teachers will correct me. Coach King and I was talking today, and, most of them do play football. I think we have like 3 guys on varsity that don't, maybe 2. So most of them aren't playing football. We want them all to play football, but because we know we got to share. I want all of them to play basketball, baseball, whatever sport it is. 3A school, you have to share. So it does help. And Coach King's actually our head junior high football coach now, so that's why helping in that aspect as well for him, vice versa.
Coach, will the majority of the kids go on to baseball now, or do you have the opportunity to what happens in the spring in Alabama? Do you eventually get an open window to practice with the kids in pads, or
we do.
What's the timing of that?
We do. They just went to baseball, so they're working out 6 a.m.s with baseball. The ones who don't play baseball, they're back with football program lifting now. And then around May, towards the middle of May, end of May, we'll do a spring. Ours is a little different because I chose to do an extra week in the fall. So you get a choice. You can do an extra week in the fall jamboree. You can do a spring jamboree. And you can't do a pre-week 0 fall jamboree. So we're doing a pre-week 0 fall jamboree in the fall, starting a week earlier, and then which sets up good for us because we'll do a pre-jamboree, pre-week 0 fall jamboree. I'm gonna take week 0 off, and then we're just gonna play 1 through 10. And so, kind of give us, in that jamboree, see what we need to work on, get better at, and leading up to SAC's game, and then get better at that leading the P-line. Talking
about the jamboree, who do you have on store to play the jamboree game?
Currently, we have Section North Jackson coming to us. I'm trying to find one more team to play us. I've been calling around or come up here and play a jamboree with us 3. So right now it's North Jackson Section and us here at Sylvania. So we're excited about that. And we've not been able to do a spring. We're going to do some work, some field work. We won't be able to put anything on, but we're going to do some skill development and stuff like that. But not a technical spring. So we're not going to do a spring jamboree or golden.
But that's a good question, Coach, because, your offense is not simple to the average fan. During the time you do have in the spring, which is not a true spring, do you try to put in plays, or do you just try to work on technique and what you can without pads on?
We do a little of both. We try to make sure we're continuing to hit our base stuff. There's not a lot like what we want to be good at, which is whether it be inside zone team and outside zone team, whatever zone scheme and gap scheme we want to be good at. It's going to be our base, we think, for this team. We make sure we learn it. We learn it against the fronts up front. We work on our steps, techniques, stuff like that. And then skill development is the biggest part, whether it be receivers, first step, using their hands, everything like that, football, first step. Like I met with a couple players in just a few minutes, probably at 4 o'clock to about 4:30. And we was just going over, quarterback was going over pass pro, pass protections, how to call it, who to call it to, what happens if this guy walks up. Just working pass protections now, talking to the elves about where to hit it. We watched some film from last year, some cut-ups, and just stuff like that. Now, just working up to the spring, just trying to get better, and every little thing matters. So we're just trying to get better. So it's mainly skill development, but we're trying to work some scheme to our base passing game and things.
Howie, before you go, let me just get a comment in that the only letter I got in high school was for baseball, And if I'd had 6 a.m. baseball practice, I probably wouldn't have got that one either. So whoever has got 6 a.m. baseball practice, you wouldn't have got this fat fella. But how will you take off on it, buddy?
I want to change the subject real quick. You were, I don't, you was nominated or you was chosen as one of the top 10 under 40 in the state of Alabama. You was ranked number 9. How do you feel after just 2 years of being a head coach?
So I couldn't hear the last part. It's fuzzy on my end.
I'm sorry, Coach. You are number 9 out of the 10 under 40 coaches selected in the state of Alabama. How does that make you feel after just 2 years of being a head coach?
I saw that. My wife told me about it, and I saw it, and I try not to really be honest with you. Think about it. I really just about it. It's about the kids and about what they're doing and working hard. It does mean a lot to me. I mean, I try to work hard, but at the end of the day, it's about them. It's about making them better. And without them guys, it ain't about what I do. It's about what they do. And so I just try to come to work hard, and to be recognized for that is an honor. Don't get me wrong, but it's not why I do it. I don't think that's why any coach should do it, is to be recognized or anything like that. But it does. It's an honor to be recognized for that this early in my career. But tomorrow it could be different. I could drop to 150. And at the end of the day, I'm still going to come to work, and I'm going to work my tail off, and I'm going to try to make my kids better, and we're going to try to go to work and win football games and build character and build young men. At the end of the day, we want to win every football game, and that's the goal. But 10 years from now, what did I learn from Coach Vann? And hopefully it's more than scheme and first step and technique and winning games. I hope it's things about life. So,
well,
but it does. I didn't mean to get off on that rant.
No. I mean, receiving something like that may actually bring the kids out more, wanting to play for someone like that. For you, wanting to do better to make you in 10 years, like you said, be the top 10 under 30.
Right. Yeah, 10 years would be top 10 under 40, but I wish it was top 10 under 30.
Hey, Coach, if you hang a 3 or 7 next year, you're not going to make the 2022 list. So just go ahead and tell you now.
I agree.
Kyle Finch, we better keep it nice. He's watching us, and that's enough to scare me to keep me nice. So I thought that's Coach getting one in there. But
he's coach of the, we call him Cody, coach of the year. Last year, I got to get it in while I can, because at the end of the year, when basketball season's over, he's no longer coach of the year, so I can't call him that anymore. He just goes back to Coach Finch. So I'm trying to call him Cody 4 times as I can before this season's over.
Coach, we went a little bit through what we're trying to accomplish, but one thing we want to accomplish is, as we grow this show, and we told everybody we're going to start giving it a little air right now, maybe once every 2 weeks or something. But when we get into season, we're going to be here every week, and maybe even have some highlights of the game, some feedback from the game. But one thing we talked about is maybe opening a mailbox where you can get some questions from the fan base and stuff. And I'm sure you're so media friendly, that's something you welcome, and the feedback. We got a real shot to make this interactive with our fan base right now.
That'd be good. Yeah, send the complaints in. Just whatever you want to bring on. Yeah, ask anything. It'd be good.
And Coach, I told them they couldn't question play calling. That's the only thing about it.
Yeah, you can talk about the defensive calls, and I'll just pass them along. I'm just kidding. We can't do Clark like that, Coach Clark.
Coach, what is the rules in Alabama as far as how much contact you can have with the kids over the summer? Are you still able to run your weight program over the summer?
Yes, sir. We do. We have 2 weeks. I think you got All-Star Week, and then they have it designated. There's another weekend. I think it's All-Star Week's the main one that they don't want you doing anything. It's All-Star Week. But other than that, we're straight through. Actually, basketball does some stuff in June. But we go from June all the way. Besides that, like I said, that All-Star Week, we're straight through, and we start a week early earlier than everybody else. You know, if you decide to start, not do spring, we start earlier. But you're allowed, like, we'll work out, we'll go out in helmets, we do OTAs, 7-on-7s, and stuff like that throughout the summer. But you're just not allowed to put pads on. You can wear helmets, get things done. So we do that all summer. We spend time on the field every day and try to get better.
Ms. Cheney, you want to roll a few questions out Coach Vann's way?
Yeah, I want to kind of follow up on that. With the kids playing multiple sports and everything, how do you manage to work that in where you got them a certain time, then Coach King got them a certain time? Do y'all get together and say, okay, let's work it out this week? How does that work out?
Yeah, it's been discussion actually the last few weeks on that. So this year we'll have junior high from 7. Like, I have the junior high football guys from 7 in the morning to 8:30. Then I'll send them to basketball. And then I'll have the varsity guys come in at 8:30 to 10. And that's including, weights and on the field. As soon as it gets 10:05, I send the basketball guys to Coach King, and all the other football guys will finish up. We may not be done at that point, but I send them on time because they need to go to get basketball because it's their time in summer to get that. But in July, there's no issue at all. It's just all football stuff. So, but in June, we work with each other, and we got to get them all doing what they need to do. There's baseball, I think, in June as well. So it's a full-time thing for the kids, but it's good for them. But we do a good job, I think, of working around each other so that the kids can be different places and not have to go home and come back, back and forth. They get to school and workouts, they do it, workout, football, and then go to basketball. It's a lot, but they're young and handle it.
That's all I got. That's the only question I had following that.
Coach, and then we'll get into, we got about another 20 minutes here. I want to talk a little about this year, 2022, coming up. Mm-hmm. I know we talked at the end of last year, and we were like, yeah, a couple weeks you'll be building depth charts and moving players around and stuff. What is the prospect, and what seniors do you have to replace at key positions that we might see somebody over the summer and through the fall camp emerge? Not a name as much as what positions we'll have battles at during the summer.
Right. So we have the quarterback position. We lost Brody Smith, senior. He threw for 2,400 yards. He had a really good season for us. So we're replacing him, and so there's going to be a battle. There's 3 guys possibly that could win that battle. It's going to be I think it's going to be good for us. Anytime you have competition all over any spot on the field, it's going to make each other better. So that's going to be a battle that'll probably last all the way up to game 1. I could be lasting that long. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Throughout the summer, they'll make each other better. And we got Sawyer Hughes, a receiver. He's our leading receiver, over 1,000 yards receiving, maybe the first time in school history that's happened. But he's going to be a big-time guy to replace this on offense, that deep threat guy. And we got a couple guys that I'm looking at that I think can do it. We'll have competition. Really, all 2 spots, 2 outside receiver spots. We got one guy coming back that probably has one locked down, but I never say locked down because you may have a young guy come up and surprise you. But then up front, we got right guard, left tackle. But there's been a lot of rotation of young guys up front that played last year because we had some injuries that are ready to play. It's just, we got some seniors up front that we lost. It's going to be hard to replace, and it's going to take us some time to get our young guys ready to go. And as soon as we get them, we'll be working hard to get that spot ready. That's the most important spot on the field up front. We're going to be young on the O-line in a few spots, but 2 of the ones that's going to be playing got a lot of reps last year. And I think that's going to be big. And then defense, the same type of stuff. We got
Coach, with Sawyer, if you move Sawyer, he was such a weapon outside. Do you create another opening that you didn't have to fill, or is it a situation that if Sawyer just wins the job, he wins the job, but it's always, to me, a tough decision to take a kid that's productive at another position and move him. But is there any weighing of that? Hey, this is an all district region receiver. We're moving to quarterback. We've got a new opening now at wide receiver.
Yeah, so we got problem we have now. We got probably the two that's really going to battle for the job. One of them, whoever don't win it's going to play receiver, and I think they both complement each other. So they're both good enough to be on the field. So then it becomes a problem in summer where if you're not practicing quarterback, you got to go out there and make sure you get your receiver drills and you're catching footballs because you're going to be on the football field. And so this is where we're going to be back and forth on if we're playing 7-on-7s, you may be running quarterback and he may be a receiver, and we may switch the next drive. And, because they need reps at both spots. We need film on them at both spots. And so this will be exciting, and we're excited about it.
Does it give the kids a unique perspective, though, playing quarterback and wide receiver? Hey, if you're out there, play one at wide receiver and drop a ball, then you go back to quarterback,
Yeah.
You're going to yell at yourself?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm one of them. Once I make the decision there in the fall, on who wins the job, they want it. So it's going to be a battle that I won't decide until I know for sure. But we're going to have somebody by week 1, and they're going to know where they're playing. But through the summer, I see what you're talking about. They're going to be able to get on each other, I guess, a little bit. They may drop it on purpose. They may blame it on the quarterback. I'm just
can't be dropping balls so you can win the quarterback position. You got to catch for the other guy.
That's it.
Coach,
most schools having a hard time.
Next year's team, and then I want to talk a little bit about the fishing tournament. You got a big promotion fundraiser coming up. When you sat down after the end of the season, and you've described your process before, and seems like you and the staff have a great way to get through film and open discussion. Did you evaluate your own playbook at the end of the year? Do I want to add? Do I want to take away? This worked. I'm going to leave 75% and change 25%. Is that something you look at?
Yeah, I look back through and watch some film. We cut up some film on up front what we've done, and we met on it actually last night on O-line stuff, and we're just trying to make ourselves better. But when you look back at what we've done, there's a couple of pass pros that we may make change a little bit, and then there's run game. We may not have as many run plays in this year, maybe too much for the O-line last year because we had it wrote on the board earlier in there. I think so we got 10 different run plays. Now we run them out of a bunch of formations. And really, we call one of them Bulldog, but we can run it Bulldog, Red Bulldog, or Black Bulldog. So it's 3 different really types of things they have to learn, and it's kind of a battle whether I don't want to condense some of it down, which we won't start with 10 because we didn't start with that much last year. You start with your base and we kind of add on to it as it goes, depending on what type of defense we're playing, if we need to add it that week or not. But it's really getting out there in the spring, getting out there in the early fall and seeing what our guys are going to be better at, if that makes sense. We have an idea what we're going to be better at, but it's just confirming that. But taking away some of the offense, I wouldn't say it's going to be tweaking some of it, because I think that's the hardest thing about high school football is year to year your personnel changes. So like last year we had a kid that could throw for 2,400 yards. We may not have that this year. I'm not saying we won't, but that don't come around that's not consistent. You may have a guy who can throw for 2,400. Well, next year you may have a guy who can rush for 2,400. You can't call the same game, and that happens. So kind of takes as a play caller and an offensive guy, you got to really put your guys in the best position to make plays. So we may run these plays more this year than we run last year, and then next year it may flip and do something else. But it's just right now just trying to figure out what's going to be best for our guys. And first off, we got to figure out who's going to win that job and who's going to be in the backfield. It's just, how it is. All the time going, what happens if this guy goes down? We don't try to think about that.
Surely football is a year-round sport. Howie, before we get to the things that we're planning in the future, we're going to talk about some other things. You got any follow up for Coach Vann before we get to the Bass tournament?
Yeah, usually most coaches at smaller schools has the trouble finding one player to play quarterback or something, but it sounds like you got the luxury where you could have three fighting for it. I mean, that's great for you, but it could be bad as well. Could you go into that a little bit more as far as being able to have three at one position?
Right. Yeah. So, we got two that I feel that I'm confident in that can make the plays in the pass game and on their feet. The third one will be more on his feet guy that does mainly running. So that would have to happen. If I really didn't feel like the other two was going to give us anything in the pass game, but really, I would say it's a two-man race right now because I'd like to keep our backs in the backfield and keep them fresh. But we don't have a Wildcat set in. And that's really was the third guy, was the Wildcat guy. We really have two guys that's really going to compete hard for that quarterback spot. And that's exciting. And I think it's a good thing for them guys because they already come to me. They're wanting to meet, they want to throw, and it's both of them. And so they're both wanting to be good. And then we have some young guys like freshman that's going to be a sophomore, same grade as the other one that if he grows, he's going to be competing. He'll grow up on some weight. So it's exciting. So we got some under the radar guys that could throw in there and make a splash as well.
So you already got your 8th grade from last year. Will you already have them going through your summer workout, your upcoming freshmen?
Yeah, so they're not where they're 7th. So our first, second periods are junior high workouts. 7th periods are varsity guys right now. So the current 8th grader going to be freshmen. They're not working out with their varsity guys yet, but they're working out every day. Same thing and same exact regimen. They're doing the exact same thing. They're just not together yet. But I think we have that group is full of skill guys and some good linemen as well. Not as many linemen. There's not a lot of linemen in there, but the ones that are in there are pretty. I think it's got a bright future, but our skills loaded in that group. And I'm excited about that. I think they're going to help us a lot on special teams, and they're going to be buying for spots. I think they're going to shock some people. And then you look at we're going to be able to play JV schedule and make sure that them 9th and 10th graders are getting playing time. So like that quarterback I talked to you about, the young one that's not maybe in the race heavy right now that could be if it put on weight and grow. He needs reps on JV because he may grow and put on weight going into his junior year and win that spot because it's a competition every year. It doesn't matter who wins it this year. It can flip next year. Somebody else outworks one and wins the job. It ain't yours just because you played it last year. And so I'm excited about that. I think it's going to be good stuff.
So that's a good question, and I'm sorry I keep running on to it, but you just brought up something I wanted to ask you. So you got that younger quarterback. Do you almost you have a quarterback that's playing wide receiver, and if something happened that the other quarterback couldn't start a game, you'd probably move him in for wide receiver. But you want to put that young kid in a system to get those JV reps, and does he work as your second quarterback in the varsity at practice, or how do you handle that?
He really, we got to get both of them reps. And the guy who last year, I didn't do a good enough job of getting our true second group guy reps. So I got the third group guy probably more reps than the second group, if that makes sense, because he's primary position somewhere else. This year with this situation, I'm going to have to find a way. They're both going to have to get good quality practice reps because if one goes down, the other one's going to step in and be very productive in that spot. We really shouldn't miss that much. That makes sense. And but the other guys want to get tons of rep on scout team, and so he's throwing a lot of balls. And then on JV, if he's able to, progress and get better throughout the year, then it may be a situation where he could, step in and practice more where they're forced to get better. He's young and he needs to grow. And he'll get bigger and put on weight. He works hard. He's put on weight already. I'm proud of him. So I think he's got potential to be good.
That's a great thing about doing a show like this, and that we're going to do over the next several years and grow with the program. We're going to get to see a lot of these kids grow too, and that's an exciting part. But you got something going on this weekend that we got to promote a little bit. Howie, I think you got the flyer up. I don't have it. What? Can you run through that just a little bit?
Yeah, it's actually next weekend, March the 5th.
March 5th. Okay.
The Rams Classic Open Bass Tournament. It's going to be held at Goose Pond Boat Ramp. I think it's $100 entry fee, $1,000 first place guaranteed. Sounds like it's going to be a great job or a great time. I'm not a fisherman, or I'd get in it. But if you need any help,
you got to get up at 6 a.m.
Safe flight. So yeah, pretty much, yes.
Yeah, y'all folks crazy. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
You're asleep, ain't you?
Yeah. Batman's still asleep at those times. Go ahead, Howie.
Yeah, go back real quick. If you need anybody gaining your weight, have them come and hang out with me and Randy. We'll put the weight on them in a heartbeat, buddy.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's going to be
we need people to sign up, fish. Got some signed up. We need more. Again, every fundraiser we do, we just got done with one, and when we finish this one, the players really are not involved in this one as much. When we finish this one, we'll start another one because, we spend a lot of money and we go through a lot of money in the football season. So does every program around here. But we're trying to provide our football players with the best equipment we can provide them with the best weights, with the best facility. We're trying to make it the best we can make it. We can't do that without money. We can't do it without everyone's help. So we appreciate everything everyone does when they donate and they participate in fundraisers. I mean, it don't go on. We're thankful for it, and we appreciate you. And so when you come out and you see the field look good on Friday night, you see everything that's up and this field house and this locker room, the way it looks is because of people that help out. We appreciate everybody.
And the good thing about this one here, if you want to sign up, you can pre-register by text by contacting Josh Turner at 256-717-6043. Get in contact with him. He can get you the information. Go out and see if you can make you $1,000 enjoying fishing.
Probably won't win because me and my partner probably win. But you can
who is your partner?
You can come out and try Ryan Haney. So you can come out. Yeah,
that's a ringer. That's a ringer right there.
That's ringer.
Like having,
you can come out and try to win, but
that's like having Bill Dance and you both having Ryan Haney in there.
Kevin Van Dam.
There you go.
It's funny. I seem to do better at the fundraisers where you eat wings and hot dogs than I do.
Yeah. Well, we'll have that coming up too in August. So you can come back.
Yeah, we'll be there. For sure. We got a lot we can do with this program. We can also raise money for the program through here. We're excited about this. And Coach, one thing that we have an opportunity to do as we get closer to season is we're going to be able to talk a little bit and maybe even show some films on here of the previous week's game. We don't know for sure what time we're going to do it and all the details yet, but it's a unique opportunity. And a lot of folks that seen the Coach Saban show and stuff like that, for you as a coach, that's kind of putting yourself out there to take and look at that film and see it the next day. What's the challenges for you as far as when you watch film and self-critiquing? Like, are you super hypocritical of yourself?
Yes, I watch film and think, why I ain't gonna say exactly what I think, but why did you call that in that situation, or and a lot of times it's a lot of different things of why I didn't see that on film previously. Like if I'm watching film and I see something the defense is doing, wondering why I didn't catch that in the scout, because I try to catch everything I can. And then, it ain't always about making the wrong call. Sometimes it's about you're in a good call and the other guy's just in a better one. And, and that's the fun thing about calling plays for me is you're trying to find something that works. And once that defensive coordinator figures out what you're doing and he makes a move, it's time for you to make a chess play back. Sometimes I try to critique myself because I didn't make the right chess move back. I screwed up, so I need to find a way next time I see this situation arise, remember it and make a better move the next time, because you're going to see it again. And I think that's where older coaches and coaches that's been around a lot have seen a lot of things, and they may have the edge on me in that stance that, maybe they've seen that move before. They know what I've done, and then they may be a step ahead of me. But I'm trying to learn enough where I can trick them a little bit, try to stay another step ahead. We're going to try to trick Coach Benfield again, but there ain't much tricking with him. He ain't trying to trick you. He's saying, I'm running right at you, stop me. And a lot of people don't stop him. So,
but Coach,
but I don't care what people say that, and sometimes it takes away. Like, yeah, he's not trying to hide anything, but what he does, he coaches it so well, he don't have to. I think that's just a contribute to how good of a coach he really is. Coaching technique and seeing how they block, and I think it's just more contribute to how good Coach Benfield is.
You got to do what you got to do, though, Coach Vann, and you're not going to go from running the spread to a single wing.
No, you won't say. I actually at Woodville, I last year I was in a way kind of ran some of the same stuff Coach Benfield did, because I didn't have the personnel to spread it out, and so. But I don't think. I hope we don't have that problem here. I don't think we will. We got some good athletes, and we got to get them the ball in space. That's what we're going to try to do. There's multiple ways to skin a cat. I'm just going to skin it my way.
Well, Howie, as we wrap up the first episode, as we said, we're going to have a ton of opportunity. First off, y'all got to get me talking in strictly Alabama time, but Howie, we're going to have a ton of opportunity and opportunity to promote the program and goals. Anything you want to ask to wrap up tonight? Because I've about wore Coach Vann out with my questions tonight.
No, Coach, we hope we don't you get tired of us. We hope you don't get tired of us, and keep coming back with us. And it's going to be a great season for you. Looking forward to talking to you next month and see what improvements you feel like you've made in the next 25 to 30 days, whenever it may be. And looking forward to talking to you all year long. And good luck to you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We're going.
I may be even sneaking down to Alabama a little bit this fall, so we don't know the detail. I don't know if I'm going back to my old radio station or moving on down the line, but I may be down there a little more. That y'all may get a little tired of seeing me too by the time the season's over with. Coach, we appreciate your time, and we appreciate it. And folks, if you want to support the Sylvania Rams, first I'll get out to the Bass Tournament this weekend. Join us here with Coach Tyler Vann. And Coach will have details of the Wing Fest over the summer. And is there anything else going on, Coach, we need to talk about before we get out of here tonight?
I think you covered it. But I appreciate what y'all do, promoting Sylvania, promoting our kids. Every media, everybody who calls, everybody who talks, we really appreciate it, because we need our kids to be promoted, and that's important to me. That's important to our parents.
Coach, just like you do this for the love of kids, we do it too, because in our little way, we try to give back to them, because they're the important part of this whole equation.
I agree.
For Randall Cunningham, Howie Chaney, and of course, Coach Tyler Vann, thank you for joining us on our first ever Sylvania Rams football preview. Again, if you go to RiverCity-Media Sports on YouTube and smash the like, you'll get a notification every time. We'll be back in about 4 weeks with an update. As we get close to the season, we'll get our weekly time figured out, but we got an opportunity to do something special with access. And Coach, it's a real pleasure that you're going to give us the access to this program, and thank you for that.
Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
Thank you. We'll see y'all in about a month.